Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well, staying healthy, enjoying life, and must be planning to improve your life. Here we are to do so. Here, daily we read a chapter of a novel to develop reading habit to improve our English, including reading, writing, listening, speaking, vocabulary at the same time enhancing our knowledge. As we know, reading is the best practice to develop all these things, which help us in many ways. And reading could be one of the good hobby to make a change in ourselves. As we have heard from many prominent personalities that books change their life, add values, widen their knowledge, we can learn and live other life by reading a book and get all those experience and learn from their mistake. So why to commit same mistake if we can learn from them and improve our life? So join me in this journey to become best version of ourselves. Before starting, I would love to hear your thought in comment section. Remember to like, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Press the bell icon for daily updates. Today we are going to read Part 13 of this particular novel, that is Your Dreams Are Mine Now, written by Ravinder Singh. So let's read and see what is there for us to know and what we can learn from this chapter. So let's start and see that what is there.
13. There are fires that spread gradually. Then there are those fires that spread in no time. They offer no time to douse them and burn everything that comes in their way. The fire in Due, with Mahajan, the accounts professor, as its epicenter, was of the second type. The extent to which things got raked up by the end of the next week was unimaginable, even to the ones who had started it. It was as if the university world had been waiting for the evidence. With anonymous, yet strong facts pointing towards Mahajan, luck seemed to have disowned him completely. The morning after the video was uploaded on the internet, Mahajan was the talk of the campus gatherings and discussions. A few tech-savvy youngsters had anticipated that with the number of views of the video over the internet growing so fast, the sites might verify the content and pull it off. To overcome that, they recorded the video stream onto their devices. That's how it moved from the internet to cell phones, and then from one cell phone to another. From the college's Facebook page, the video made its way to Due's Facebook page. It then landed into alumni networks from where it got pushed into their respective corporate circles. Its final destination was the news channels, where it became breaking news. It wasn't broadcast, but had become the subject of prime time debate. The sky had fallen over Mahajan's head. Below his feet, the earth too had moved. It was as if a calamity had engulfed him from all directions and he had nowhere to run. As if with passing time, misfortune was tightening its grip on him and was now preparing to swallow him. Mahajan was not left with any time to investigate who was behind all this. Though he had a fair hunch that it might have been Rupali who, his followers had told him, had been seen with Rahima and Arjun. But there was no time to investigate that. Additionally, a local TV channel, for the sake of TRPs, claimed it as their own sting operation. Clearly Mahab's idea of making a DVD and shipping it to that local channel had worked towards confusing the media and the public. The letter that he posted along with the DVD had read, "This is a genuine recording. If you don't believe it, then wait till tomorrow. It will be all over the internet. Feel free to claim this recording and then break the story on your news channel. Don't attempt to find out who I am. A well-wisher of your channel." The channel, a sycophant of the party in opposition in the state, knew how to use every opportunity against the party in power. When backed by its promoters, the channel lambasted Mahajan, who was the ruling party's right-hand man in Due, without giving it a second thought. When one channel broke the story, others too wanted to play up the hype. Without investigating the source, they simply ran a ticker claiming that the channel doesn't vouch for the authenticity of the video, and went ahead with Mahajan's character assassination, debating how the whole education system had become corrupt. Guided by the national media, there was public pressure not only to sack Mahajan but also to book him and throw him behind bars. In the normal course of the law for the latter to happen, an fear had to be lodged. But without the victim coming forward, the question was, who would lodge the fear? The opposition party leaders were willing. Clearly, they were more interested in playing opportunistic politics and weeding out Mahajan from the system. However, everyone believed that if the actual victim didn't turn up and made a statement, it would only become a fragile case against Mahajan. So they appealed time and again for the victim to turn up. In next 3 days, 7 women turned up. They claimed to be the woman in the video. It turned out that all of them were fake, women bought by opposition party leaders only to start the proceedings. They were soon dismissed when the evidence did not coincide with what was being shown. Some women did not have the same physical appearance as the woman in the video. Some weren't able to prove that they were on Dew's payroll. They also could not prove how they landed up inside the Dew campus on the given day. The video had a date stamp. Arjun and Rupali had never thought that what they had done would lead to a controversy of this magnitude. Everything they heard of and got to know came through public sources. No one knew about their hand behind all this. Rupali and her gang seamlessly mixed in the crowd protesting against Mahajan, as if they were just like them, people who first saw the video on the internet. But the story of fake victims turning up to file the fear bothered Rupali more than anyone else. Arjun had told her that if this continued, it would dilute such a strong case and only let Mahajan to prove that all this was a conspiracy against him. Because of the enormous interest the case had generated, and for the sake of his daughter Saloni, the renowned lawyer of the Delhi High Court, Kailash Chadha, came forward to help them. This happened when Saloni had gone home and told her father the truth. Instead of being angry with his daughter for jumping into this mess, he had supported her. He believed that she had, for the first time, taken a great stand in her life. He didn't want to let her down. He therefore called Rupali and her newfound gang to his premises to talk to them. He told them of ways in which they can get away without making the victim file and fear. There is a provision that any independent citizen of this country can step forward and lodge an fear, he explained. And with the evidence in the public domain, it's a lot easier to do so, he had said. That's all one needs to kickstart the process. The victim is needed at a later stage when the court case begins. But unfortunately, the society we live in, unless one has some incentives, he or she wouldn't do so, he added. But he also promised his daughter that once the fear is filed, he would make sure that Mahajan is immediately booked and sent behind bars, and then he will move court against him. The very next day, a formal fear was lodged in the police station of North Campus. Once strong, the mighty Mahajan had now become a rat who didn't dare step out of his house. Bad times are the true test of people who care for you. Sadly for Mahajan, there was no one to back him up. His wife had left him and gone home with the kids. Politically, too, he had been abandoned. Why would anyone want to sail on a sinking ship? For his political masters, instead of facing the issue, it was a chance to sacrifice Mahajan and gain brownie points in the name of sympathy for women. And that's what happened. By the end of a week-long public protest after the video was first posted, backed by strong media support, the opposition parties' demand and finally and fair, Mahajan was arrested. A warrant had been issued against him in the High Court. For that entire week, thankfully for Rupali and Arjun, nothing else happened in the country that took away the limelight from this issue. In various forums, in debates, in the media, the university account professor's secret class continued to be the topic of much discussion and anger towards the system. The university, in one of its official statements, had announced the sacking of Mahajan. They were now looking for his replacement. Meanwhile, Mahajan, in his misery, got busy moving to and fro between the court and the lockup. But one thing is not clear. Who would have lodged the fear? Prosenjit asked out of sheer curiosity. The newfound gang was celebrating their victory on the college rooftop. Yes, even I was wondering the same, Saloni repeated. Maybe one of the victims of Mahajan's ill acts from the past. Anyway, we will get to know by tomorrow. For what this case has become now, it can't remain a secret. Someone will break the story, Arjun said. I lodged the fear. Those words from Rupali stunned everyone. It took a moment for everyone to absorb this new bit of information. What? Saloni said, stepping closer to her roommate. She further held her shoulders. Why did you do that? Arjun asked, his voice full of worry. He was worried about Rupali revealing her identity and taking Mahajan head on in the public sphere. Why didn't you ask me first? Saloni shook her shoulders. Everyone waited for Rupali to speak up. And so she did. I lodged this fear in the capacity of an independent citizen of this country, just as your father suggested, she said, looking at her roommate. Saloni was about to say something, but Rupali cut her off mid sentence and continued to say, if I would have asked you before doing so, I know you would have tried to stop me. The boys continued to listen in a state of surprise, while Rupali continued to clarify the matter. In my fear, I haven't claimed that I shot the video. I am not the victim as well. I just lodged an fear based solely on the evidence in the public domain. No one really knows who actually shot the video and who uploaded the same. Our identities are still hidden. The world continues to believe it was that local TV channel. Many also believe that it's a bunch of mischievous students. After what your father said, I kept thinking the whole night. And then this morning, when I knew what I was going to do, I called up my Baba. I didn't want to do this without taking him into confidence. I explained to him all that had happened and my stand on this subject. It was only after about an hour-long discussion that he was convinced that I was right and I should do what I believe in. He said he is with me. I explained to him that I didn't want to see Mahajan playing the victim card and make it seem like a conspiracy against him. I didn't want him to escape. I also clarified that feeling and fear is only a mental block. When the evidence is in the public domain, feeling and fear against the culprit is merely a formality. She paused for a moment and then finished by saying, besides, I had to settle my equation with Mahajan. He had slapped me in his cabin. He should know that it's my turn to even it. So you slapped him in public. Prosenjit clapped, appreciating Rupali's guts. It changed everyone's perspective. The next morning, Dew acknowledged Rupali as its hero.